Welcome to our exploration of the most significant items stolen from Africa by the British Empire. These artifacts, natural resources, and cultural treasures were taken during the colonial period and remain a subject of intense debate. For centuries, Africa has been a cradle of diverse cultures, rich history, and invaluable resources. During colonialism, the British Empire extracted a heavy toll on the continent. From bustling cities to remote villages, treasures of immense value were taken, leaving a void that echoes through generations. Our journey begins in the ancient kingdom of Benin, present-day Nigeria. Here, artisans crafted exquisite bronze sculptures and plaques depicting their history, royalty, and customs. In 1897, a British expedition laid siege to Benin City, ransacking the palace and seizing thousands of bronzes. These artifacts, integral to Benin's identity, were dispersed globally, ending up in museums and private collections. High in the Ethiopian highlands lies the fortress of Magdala, once the stronghold of Emperor Tewodros II. In 1868, a British force stormed the fortress, looting its treasures. Among the stolen items were crowns, manuscripts, and sacred tablets, leaving a scar on Ethiopia's cultural heritage. These artifacts, embodying Ethiopian history and faith, were scattered globally. The Ashanti Empire in present-day Ghana was renowned for its gold work. At its heart lay the golden stool, embodying the soul of the Ashanti nation. The British, driven by greed, engaged in the Anglo-Ashanti Wars, looting gold artifacts. They even tried to seize the sacred golden stool, symbol of Ashanti sovereignty. Rising from the heart of southern Africa, the ruins of Great Zimbabwe stand as a testament to the Shona people's achievements. Among the ruins, 8 enigmatic soapstone birds stood as silent guardians representing spiritual beliefs and ancestral connections. During the colonial era, these birds were removed and scattered across the globe. They ended up in museums and private collections far from their homeland. In the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, tablets hold a sacred place, representing the Ark of the Covenant. During the Battle of Magdala in 1868, British forces looted these sacred tablets. The removal caused immense pain and outrage within Ethiopia. It struck at the heart of their religious beliefs. The 𝐂𝐭 people of southern Africa have long faced exploitation and discrimination. European anthropologists sought 𝐂𝐭 remains for studies and displays. These remains, often acquired unethically, were treated as specimens. They were stripped of their humanity and cultural significance. Deep in the heart of Nigeria, the Nok culture flourished between 500 BC and 200 AD, leaving behind an astonishing legacy of terracotta sculptures. These figures showcase the artistic ingenuity of this ancient civilization. However, as European interest in African art grew, so did the demand for Nok terracotta sculptures. Many artifacts were unearthed through uncontrolled excavations or illicit trade, ending up in private collections and museums across Europe and America. In 1898, as the British Empire pushed its railway through Tsavo, Kenya, 2 male lions terrorized the construction workers. These lions, known as the Tsavo maneaters, were killed by Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson. Instead of decomposing naturally, their bodies were preserved through taxidermy. They were later displayed in a Chicago museum. The sands of Sudan conceal a rich history, including the remains of ancient Nubian civilizations and the remnants of the Amana period. Exquisite gold objects reflect the artistic brilliance and wealth of that era. During British influence, many Amana gold artifacts were taken from sites. These objects ended up in museums and private collections outside Sudan. In the fertile highlands of Kenya, the 𝐭𝐭 people thrived for generations. During British colonial rule, their land was confiscated and given to European settlers, displacing countless 𝐭𝐭 families. This land grab disrupted their traditional way of life, creating lasting economic and social inequalities. The Bamoun Kingdom in present-day Cameroon was known for its rich artistic traditions and powerful rulers. Central to their regalia was the Bamoun Throne, symbolizing the king's authority. During the colonial era, the Bamoun Throne was taken and ended up in a French museum. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in Egypt in 1799, held the key to deciphering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. With Napoleon's defeat, the Rosetta Stone fell into British hands and was transported to London. It remains in the British Museum, sparking debates about cultural ownership and repatriation. Along the Nile River Valley in present-day Sudan lie the remnants of ancient Nubian civilizations. British expeditions removed numerous artifacts from pottery and jewelry to funerary goods, which ended up in museums and private collections across Europe and North America. This has impacted Sudan's ability to preserve and study its own history. For the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria, Alusi figures hold deep spiritual significance. During British colonialism, many Igbo Alusi figures were removed from their shrines. Seen as pagan idols by missionaries, they were confiscated or destroyed. This suppression aimed to impose Christianity. Ethiopia boasts a treasure trove of illuminated manuscripts, preserving its unique cultural and religious identity. During the looting of Magdala in 1868, many Ethiopian manuscripts were stolen. These manuscripts ended up in libraries, museums, and private collections in Europe and North America. This has hindered Ethiopian scholars from accessing their history. For the people of Bechuanaland, now Botswana, cattle represented wealth and social status and a way of life. During the British colonial era, their herds were decimated by a policy of confiscation. This left the people of Bechuanaland struggling to rebuild their lives and livelihoods. The Congo Basin, home to forest elephants, has long been a source of ivory. In the late 19th century, European and American markets fueled unsustainable ivory demand. Belgian colonial rule in the Congo Free State saw horrific atrocities for ivory. The Maasai, semi-nomadic pastoralists, have roamed East Africa's savannas for centuries. During British colonial rule, their lands were targeted for European settlement and resource extraction. This displacement devastated the Maasai, undermining their livelihoods and eroding their cultural practices. The Oba of Benin, revered leader of the Edo people, held immense power and prestige. During the 1897 British expedition, the royal palace was looted and the Oba's regalia seized. These objects were dispersed across museums and private collections, stripping the Benin monarchy of its authority. The discovery of gold in the Witwatersrand region of South Africa in 1886 triggered a gold rush that transformed the region. British mining companies profited immensely from the Witwatersrand gold. African miners, subjected to dangerous conditions and low wages, bore the brunt of exploitation. In the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, a unique gemstone, tanzanite, was discovered in 1967. The Tanzanian government nationalized the tanzanite mines to control mining and export of this valuable resource. This led to smuggling and illicit trade, depriving the country of much-needed revenue. For centuries, the aroma of frankincense, a fragrant resin from the Horn of Africa, has wafted through religious ceremonies and perfumed homes. Somalia became a major producer of this valuable commodity. During the colonial era, European control led to exploitation. British trading companies established monopolies, profiting handsomely from the trade, while Somali harvesters received a pittance for their labor. Beneath the waves off Algeria, vibrant coral reefs teem with life, providing habitat for marine species. In the 19th century, European demand for coral led to intensive harvesting in Algerian waters. Often using destructive methods, this unsustainable practice depleted coral populations. This impacted marine biodiversity and the livelihoods of local communities. Sierra Leone, known for its lush landscapes, became synonymous with blood diamonds during its brutal civil war. Diamond mines fueled the conflict, with rebels vying for control of this trade. Diamonds from war-torn regions flooded the market, funding arms and enriching warlords. The international community responded with the Kimberley process, but challenges remain in ethical sourcing. Rubber became a global commodity in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Liberia emerged as a major producer. The rubber boom in Liberia was marred by exploitation and abuses. Firestone established vast plantations, often relying on forced labor. The aroma of coffee, enjoyed worldwide, often masks its complex production history. Introduced by British colonists in the early 20th century, coffee became a major cash crop in Uganda. The coffee industry's growth in Uganda was tied to colonial policies favoring European planters. Small-scale Ugandan farmers faced challenges accessing land, credit, and fair market prices. Madagascar, an island nation renowned for its unique biodiversity, also boasts a long history of silk production. Malagasy silk, known for its quality and luster, was prized for centuries. During the colonial era, Malagasy silk production and trade came under French control. These items represent a fraction of the wealth taken from Africa during British colonial rule. Discussions about their return gain momentum, with calls for restitution growing louder globally. Their return is about righting historical wrongs and restoring what was unjustly taken. Thank you for watching. Let's support the rightful return of these treasures. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Africarized, for more insightful content.